Hey everybody, Matt Green here, and in this weekly recap we're going to be talking about paying back some equity investors, also some new development projects that we're working on, building our team, and how to grow your company with good staff, and some other really cool things that we're working on. So let's go take a look. Everything's always like, from week to week, it just seems like you're just pushing the project to the next step and keeping everything rolling. And if you miss a week and you don't get things done, then the project just sits there idling. So it's just so important that each week that you're always pushing the project ahead. There's always a handful of steps that you have to do on every single project just to get it over the next hump to create it into, more success. So for example, that Millersport project, the one that we have that we're building out 162 units on, we actually just are in the process of filing for some extensions because we need some approvals that are going to allow us through the state to develop this project. So that's going to take about 12 months. They have a little bit of a backlog. So we had to actually go to the seller and put some documents together just stating that we may need some extensions of time. So we're figuring we want to do it now instead of later so that we have it. We don't want to get down the end of the wire of our timeline and then get stuck and have our backs against the wall because we don't have a lot of time left. So we're actually getting ahead of the curve on that and putting some documents together so that we have 2 6-month extensions plus a 3-month extension because we know it's going to take about 12 months. So we want to just prepare with the right amount of time to make sure that everything's going to work out in the right timeline so that we can have it figured out and that we don't have to go back and forth with the seller to make it work. So we were working on a lot of that with our attorneys, getting that together. And we've also been working with our town a lot too, getting the approvals and meetings done. We had a planning board meeting that we had unanimous approval on. So in January, they're actually going to have a town board meeting, which is going to just get us on the schedule, for the second meeting in January. So we're excited about getting that going. I think what's going to be the hardest part about the project is getting the DEC approval because we have to wait for that to go through, which takes 12 months. But I think the town approvals so far are going good, and it should go smooth because it's a GB zoning, so it's zone general business, and we're actually down zoning this property to a multifamily district. So it shouldn't be too bad to get it all together and make it work. So we're just taking each step at a time and completing it to the best ability that we can and making it work. We've been moving really quickly on that project, so it's been going good. We've got a good team of attorneys and engineers on the site and on the project, so it's been going good. And any type of land development that you may be considering doing, there's just so many pieces to it. And it takes time to figure out all of the pieces. But if you're interested in doing new construction development, you have to have a good team in place. You have to have a really good attorney and you have to have a really good engineer. And typically the way to find those really good people to have on your team is you have to, whatever town that you're looking to get approvals in, it's worth looking at the town meeting, seeing which attorneys are presenting the meetings. Because if your area is anywhere, like the areas that we invest into, there's always one guy or 2 people or 3 that are always presenting everybody's projects. And so if you have somebody like that in the areas that you're trying to develop projects in, that's going to help you find the right person to present your project and bring it all the way through for the town entitlements that you need to achieve. So finding the right people is really, really important. You don't want to find somebody that is not as experienced putting that project through the process because it's going to take a lot of time. You're going to have some headaches along the way, and it's going to make it harder on you because you may have not chosen the right person to bring that project along. So it's just so important to pick the right people when you're putting these development projects through. And then finding an engineer is critical. The engineers that we use do a lot of the developers in our area, so they have a lot of experience and they have some of the biggest market share of doing everybody's projects. So it's just finding good experienced people that can get the job done. And I think you have to also make sure that somebody you choose doesn't have a schedule that's so packed that they can't get to your project. You have to make sure that you're working with people that are reliable and can get the results and move things at a fast pace. So making a lot of progress on development projects. We had a meeting last week with one of our lenders that we paid a short-term loan back to, so that was huge. We took out a $750,000 loan to acquire a project, and this was an equity investment. So what we were able to do is pay that back. We have a new investor that we brought into a project, so we're able to restructure some of the capital that we have and pay some of the notes back to some lenders that we had requested some notes from and borrowed capital from. So we were able to get that off our plate, which was nice because we had that we had to pay back. We've been working on that for several months, so it was good to get that done. And it's just when you're raising capital, you have to have good relationships with people, and you have to be resourceful in the way that you can connect and network with people. And once you have built up trust and you have a good system of people that believe in what you're doing, then it'll make it a little bit easier to raise capital for projects. I mean, there's always some degree of risk to raising capital for the investor, but as long as they know you, they like you, they trust you, and they see your project that they're putting their money into, if they see that becoming successful, then it's an easier sell to raise capital. So all those factors make a big difference. We've also been working on finding some new deals. There was a land deal in Florida, I believe it was, that we were looking at. It was just over 102 units that we were looking into develop. So we're reviewing that to see if it fits the model. So it's just kind of, looking at the market. There's tons of deals out there. Everything's super competitive. It's just getting into the right deal that makes the most sense so that you can put your money into that deal and make it successful. We look at so many deals, it's crazy. So it's just finding the right deal that makes sense. And if you look at 100 deals, you might only find 5 that really fit what you're looking to do. So you have to be really diligent, and don't be too jumpy about getting a deal. Don't rush to get it. Have some patience, because eventually when you find that right deal, it's going to make all the sense in the world to acquire it and start developing it out. So you just have to wait for that right deal. But you also don't want to be too patient where you never get a deal. So there's a balance there that I think is really important. And then also last week we were working on some team development and just working on more training. I think our company is just leaning more into like almost a training / incubator company, where we bring in a lot of people that have good drive, work ethic, and they're very responsible and they're ambitious to learn. And once you find those traits within people, you can show them how to do anything as long as they're willing to learn. So that's kind of been, the model that we've been working on recently. And I think that's sort of how the market is overall, anywhere you go. I think it's hard to find people that have good experience to get the job done. And I think you almost have to train the people that have that drive and that work ethic to create more success. So I think that's where the whole market is shifting to. There's that big news about the Great Resignation, where there's so many people quitting their jobs, especially in October. And I think it's just, there's people have a lot of options now, which is, there's a ton of different opportunities out there. And I think, it's just, through COVID, everything's changed. Everyone's got a different mindset and a new outlook on everything within, their life and at the world. So I think you gotta find people that are ambitious, hardworking, and driven. And if you can find those types of people with those traits, then you can show them how to do anything. As long as they enjoy doing it and have that work ethic, that's going to be a really successful formula to grow your company. So yeah, it was a busy, productive week. So, just keeping everything in line and trying to stay focused. There's obviously a lot of frustration along the way of things that don't go certain ways. Things go wrong, things go right. But all the things that go wrong, it's just trying to stay focused and figuring out how to solve problems and keep everything growing. So it's a lot of fun. It's hard work, and but it's been a productive week. So now I'm doing a hockey interview.
But at the end of the day, it's up to the guys in this room to get pucks deep, get pucks in the net, and win some hockey games.
But yeah, so that's about it for this recap. And so good week.